Hello everyone, welcome! I'm creating a birthday card in today's video using Spellbinders Clear Stamp and Die of the Month Club Kit for May. This one's called All About You Wishes, and I had intended to get this out sooner, but things just got away from me this month. So here it is, it's the stamp and die of the month. And it's a really big stamp. This is all one piece, except for, of course, the sentiments. And then the dies are really fun because it cuts out portions of your stamped image. And I'll give you a closer look at this in just a few minutes. But I have a piece of hot press watercolor paper taped down to my board. Hot press is really nice and smooth. And I just wanted to put a background behind my stamped image. But I'm going to use some watercolors just to put a wash down. And then I'm going to be coloring over it. So I have an idea of where my images are going to go on this paper. I'm kind of holding up the stamp set because I want my balloons and the top portion of it to be more pink. And then the bottom portion is going to be green. And of course, pink and green don't blend very well together. So I'm not going to be blending these. I'm just going to be painting in blocks. I'll put a little bit of green down at the bottom. I just felt like getting out my watercolors for this particular card. There's so many ways you can use this cute stamp set. And of course, you can buy the stamp set just on its own. You don't have to get the dies if you don't want to. I'm going to go in with a little bit of yellow in the middle, and it was very yellow, so I'm going to blend this out just a little bit. And then I'm going to come in and color all of the edges with the green. And I'm taking care not to blend it too much with the pink. It was just satisfying sitting down and putting some pretty colors of paint on the paper. So I'll blend out the yellow, and then I'm going to add some darker greens on this piece of paper. And I keep holding up the stamp set so I can kind of gauge where I want the colors to go. And my paper is completely wet now, so I can just drop in some darker paints, darker greens, and just kind of let it do its thing, kind of feather out. And of course, I'm not worried about a smooth blend because I am going to be cutting up this paper with the dies. So I allowed this to dry overnight. You could, of course, hit it with your heat tool to hurry up the drying process, but I just prefer to let it dry naturally. I add a little bit of a darker pink over the pink portion of this card, and it started getting a little bit muddy, so I'm going to pull the hot pink straight out of the pan and just tap it into the pink portion of the card. Okay, so here it is all done. I'll peel back the tape. And I do cut this panel down just a little bit so it'll fit in my mini MISTI. And then I'll pull out this large stamp. And then I can place it right where I want it on this watercolor paper. I'll pick it up with the door of the mini MISTI. I'm going to use some very nice ink. I love this ink. I use it a lot. It's VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And this is a great ink if you want to watercolor. And at this point, I wasn't sure if I wanted to watercolor over the wash or use my colored pencils. This ink won't work with Copic markers, however, it will smear. So I decided to pull out my Faber-Castell colored pencils and start adding color to this image. I'm not going to show you the whole coloring, just a little bit. I wanted you to see how well it covers up the wash behind it. But I am allowing a little bit of the pink wash to show through, as well as some of the green wash to show through. So I decided on the top portion of this card to use some pinks, reds, yellows, and oranges. And then at the bottom, I'm going to use green, blues, and purples. And it turns out really pretty. I am going to be cutting this out. But the colored pencils just blend beautifully over the watercolor washed background. Even this yellow colored pencil just covers up the pink perfectly. And here it is all colored in, so you can see the cooler colors at the bottom and the brighter colors at the top. My next step will be to cut out this image into 2 portions using the largest dies from this set. And I was worried that it wouldn't die cut perfectly. I thought maybe I should have stamped it out twice so I could cut out the bottom and then the top on another piece of paper. And it is quite close, and if I had moved this particular die up just a tad, it would have been perfect. But it ends up working out just fine. Now I can cut out the bottom portion, and as I said, it is pretty close there. But they designed this stamp and die set so that it works just perfectly. I'll take this off camera and cut this out. And here are the 2 sections of the card. Aren't those pretty? I love the pink at the top and the green at the bottom. I'm using leftover portions of my watercolored panel to stamp out 2 sentiments. And I'll use the coordinating dies to cut these out. I love that they include dies for the stamps. They also have dies so you could cut out the cupcake and the party hat and other elements from this card. It's just a really fun, versatile set. So I was determined to use some pattern paper behind my watercolored and colored pencil portions of the card. I keep all of Spellbinders' old pads of pattern paper from their card kits. So I'm just kind of flipping through some of these pads, and I didn't exactly know what I was looking for. So I was trying lots of different patterns, but I knew that I would know once I found the piece that I wanted to use. And I found it on a really old pad of pattern paper. Not this one. Although, like I said, they are really cute. I could have used any of these. But I found one from an old pad of pattern paper from Spellbinders. It's called Whimsical Forest. And I knew right when I put my pieces on this piece of pattern paper that that was the one. And it just has rainbow stripes on it. Some very thin rainbow stripes. That green looks really pretty too. But here it is. And I'm going to pull out this piece of paper and cut it down so that it measures 5.5 by 4 1/4. I decided to pop up my die cut pieces with some foam squares. I'm just putting the other pieces down for now to gauge where I want to attach these to my card. Okay, so there's the top portion. And then the bottom portion, of course, I popped up as well. I was debating whether to glue down the sentiment flat, but I just couldn't help myself. I had to pop this up as well. And then the smaller sentiment, I'm going to glue down. And it just fits perfectly at the bottom of the card. I added a few gems, and these are nice because they are kind of reflective. These gems will pick up the colors around it. And that's all I'm doing to this card. I'm just going to add 3 little gems inside. And let me give you a close-up look at this card. I just love these stamped images. They were so much fun to color in. Again, this set is called All the Birthday Wishes. I'll put the link in the description box below if you want to check it out. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope that you were inspired. It's so much fun just to pull out your art supplies and play. I wasn't at all sure that this one would turn out when I started painting, but I just kept at it and I had a lot of fun. I hope you all have a wonderful day, my crafty friends. Bye.